the show. I've been a fan since the '90s, man, and yeah, it's been my passion. I've had a passion for them. Matter of fact, I went to a game in Michigan for the first time, man. It was awesome. That experience was
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Being at that stadium, it's the biggest stadium in America, holds 130,000 people or whatever, and it was packed. And it was the day I went. It was family night, so it was like it was crack, and we handled Purdue that night. So yes, it's been amazing, man. And that's funny. One of the comments, Tim Biakabatuka. I told Ryan before he was the reason why I became a fan of Michigan.
Yeah, yeah, he was nice, man. He was definitely nice. Twin, how's everything in your neck of the woods, brother?
We had a little snow this weekend, got a little chilly out here, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, everything's going good. School
Hmm.
is back in rotation, so back to our regular scheduled program.
Speaking of which, man, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications on my channel, Twins channel, TL's channel. Also, you really want to do it. And here's why, man. I've given away 5 49ers jerseys. So I have contests, and the winner gets to pick out the jersey, the size, the color of their choice. I send it to their house. I've given away 5 in 15 months of doing this. Here's what I'm going to be doing for these playoffs in this postseason. For every single 49ers win in the postseason, hopefully there's 3 more, right? Two playoff games and a Super Bowl win. I'm going to be giving away a jersey on the show the following day. So 49ers win the playoffs, tune in to the very next show. I'm going to be usually what I do is if for everyone tuning in, everyone watching, you got to be subscribed, obviously, because you can't comment unless you're subscribed. So make sure you're subscribed. And what I'll do is I'll ask you a trivia question. Whoever answers it correctly first in the comments wins the jersey. I'll send it out. So my goal is to give away 3 more. That will make 8 total in 15 months.
Mm.
I want to give back to the people that support me. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like. Make sure you turn on the notifications if you want to win that jersey. And again, appreciate everybody who has been doing that anyways this whole time. And then real quick, let's pay the bills. Ryan G. Hensley Show is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Hensley and they'll match $100 of your initial deposit. Also, be smart when you're doing that. Make sure you're not spending your bill money on gambling on sports. And then Blue Water Credit is also a sponsor. To keep it real, if your credit's messed up, you shouldn't be betting on Underdog Fantasy. You should be reaching out to Blue Water Credit. Details in the description. Hit them up. They'll give you a free evaluation, and they'll let you know what they can do for you, how much it costs. Let them know Ryan G. Hensley sent you so you can get that free evaluation. Blue Water Credit. Details in the description. And then finally, my favorite sponsor, Hensley Real Estate and Mortgage. That is me. If you're looking to buy a house, sell a house, finance a house, refinance finance a house in California, hit me up. That's what I do. I've been doing this since 2009, and I would love to help you and your family. All right, fellas. The biggest takeaway from this game, Twin, let's start with you, man. What was the biggest takeaways you got in this game yesterday?
Injuries, man. Nothing dynamic. Nothing that's actually that we gotta be like, oh my god. We seen yesterday some big guys go down. AJ Brown, and the safety, he had an ACL torn as well. So for us to sit here and not have any big injuries is the number one thing that I can sit back and say, the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there was. So Clelin Ferrell, he did leave the game with some kind of knee injury, but they said it's not that serious. He could miss possibly worst case scenario one of the playoff games, but he should be back after that, if not sooner. I think they were being more cautious. Clelin said despite him leaving the game, he said if it was a Super Bowl, he wasn't going anywhere. So it doesn't sound like it's that serious. TL, what was your big takeaway from this game?
Big takeaway. I'm gonna mimic Twin on this one and first say the injuries. So and getting home field advantage was key because now we get the extra week of rest. So that's awesome. And what I will say too, Brock Purdy got to stay healthy because
Yeah.
Sam Darnold. Sorry, bro. Like, that's all I gotta say is we're up 20-7, and the way that we played in that second half was atrocious. And I know people want to talk
Yeah.
about Jake Moody, and if you want to talk about that, I would love to.
Yeah,
So,
we definitely gonna get that. I got some mark down for you. Let's start positive real quick. I was impressed with Taylor Hawkins, man. Now he did have a pass interference call. I don't know. It was a tough call, but outside of that pass interference call, Taylor Hawkins, man, looked interesting. Now I don't know if he's ever gonna get any love, any play on this team because how deep they are with Hufanga, Gibson, Jair Brown. Like I don't know if he's ever gonna get a real look. Logan Ryan's here for the playoffs, so we probably won't see Taylor Hawkins again this season. But maybe, just maybe, he might be a guy in the future because Gibson, I don't know how long he's going to be here. What did you think of Taylor Hawkins, Twin?
He popped out on the tape like you seen him. You know, he was somebody with my eyes gravitated. Number 41, Taylor Hawkins. You know what I'm saying? He was active. He made good tackles. He made good plays on the ball. He was aware. He seemed like he communicated well too. And so, just overall, his presence was definitely felt. And he seemed comfortable. You know, when you're a rookie out there, he made one play where it's a touchdown scored on him. But other than that, I mean, you're going to get scored on. Even Mooney Ward got scored on. Like, it happens. These other guys are great as well. But he didn't hang his head, got back up there, continued to play good ball.
Yeah, I think Moody. I mean, that was good coverage, man. That was just a nice pass, nice catch. He was right there.
Yeah.
Can't complain too much. That's the thing. I think a lot of fans want perfection from cornerbacks, but it's the hardest position outside of quarterback probably in the NFL to play. TL, did you see anything from Taylor Hawkins? Did he catch your eye?
Yeah, I agree. He popped off the screen a little bit. I mean, he came in and made the most out of his opportunity, So yeah, I don't know what it is, man. I just feel like this defense, kind of plug and play. Like, we got some guys that, sit there and be like, oh, you kind of worry like what's going to happen. And man, too bad what happened to Jason Verrett, man. But yeah, Taylor Hawkins, yeah, I think he looked good. And another positive I want to bring up too is, the running game. Like Mitchell's starting to look better. Mitchell's looking good. Jordan Mason, obviously, he gonna do his thing. So yeah, I would like to see a three-headed monster rotation come to playoffs. Like when we have our first playoff game, I like to see all three of them get some carries, man. And you see CMC sometimes in the slot, just so you can put a JP Mason back there. You know what I mean? And have your best guys on the field. So that's what I saw as well. That I would like to see going forward.
Yeah, you go ahead, Twin. You got something? I want to talk about that run game too.
Once he said that, I was like watching Elijah Mitchell and Jordan run. It's like, bro, we got gold mines on the bench. You know what I mean? And physicality definitely needs to be the tone setter, especially if our defense won't be able to get the pass rush that we need against some of these good teams. I mean, we have the ball control. And with those guys playing the way they did, especially in the red zone, there should be no excuse that we need to run the ball 4 times on down and distance that we shouldn't score. Not with those guys. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to throw that in there too as well.
Yeah, I think it's important to bring this up though. Elijah Mitchell, man, like, I mean, there's a debate, like, right? Like Elijah Mitchell last week, he looked good. Yesterday, he looked all right, man. To me, he looked all right. He was 14 carries, 52 yards, 3.7 yards per carry. Jordan Mason, 6 yards per carry, man. Jordan Mason continues to just ball out when he gets his opportunities, man. It's a legitimate question to ask. I'm gonna ask you guys: is Mason better than Mitchell?
Between the tackles, yes. Outside the tackles, I would say no. When Elijah Mitchell hits that edge, he's pretty quick. But I would say I would just give the edge on JP Mason just because of his health. Like, he stays healthy. You know what I mean? So I would, honestly, if it comes down to crunch situation, I think I'm giving the ball more to Jordan Mason because I trust him as far as, to me, I don't feel like he hesitates at all. As soon as he gets the ball, he's gone. He doesn't sit back there and dance, stuff like that. And I would also give it more to Mason if we're like in the red zone as well, like, goal line situations. So if I had to pick, I think it's tough to me because when Mitchell does play, he plays very well. For him as a rookie, him not fumbling the ball, we trusted him a lot when he was a rookie. And it seems like since some injuries, he's gone downhill. But if you want to ask me who would I give the most carries to behind CMC today, it would be Jordan Mason.
I think I would agree, man. And I'm just noticing now they're all M's. I guess like a law firm, Mitchell, Mason, and McCaffrey, right?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That should be a theme.
Yeah, the law firm. Yeah, no, I just Mason has jumped out to me from the get, man, and he continues to do that for me. To me, he is better than Mitchell, man. I don't know. I gotta look up. You guys know by chance Mitchell's contract situation? I'm not sure what it is. How many years we got left for him?
It should be. Sure. It should be. Him and Trey came in the same time, so.
So what was that?
Pick up on his extension. His extension should be either extended next year or he was able to be cut next year. So
I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to be honest. They're not with McCaffrey and Mason. They'll draft another running back at some point and move forward.
Hopefully, day 3.
It's not
Day
a
3 or
third
undrafted.
rounder, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I'm a big Mason guy, man, personally.
Yeah.
Another guy I wanted to talk to you guys about, man, Ronnie Bell. So, Ronnie Bell's shown some flashes, like he does block well, and then he's had his moments. He scares me in the punt return. I'm glad, Ray Ray's back, which is fantastic. But Ronnie Bell, I think in the 49ers mind, they're hoping he can replay, like, be a guy, like replace the Juwan Jennings maybe next year. And I don't know if I believe that he's ready for that. What do you guys think about Ronnie Bell? Am I tripping?
I can go first. As a Wolverines fan, I know he'll get it together. What I mean, he
Okay.
played at Michigan. I just think that it could be just like him not. I don't know. I honestly, it's shocking to me that he's playing the way he is, and I agree with you. He on punt returns, I wouldn't put him back there. He scares me.
Yeah.
But as a third, fourth receiver, I trust him. Yeah, he had some drops and stuff like that, but who doesn't? Who doesn't go through a situation? But I think he had to start against the Giants when Debo was out. He played solid. So, as a third receiver, he blocks better. Don't disrespect my man like that, calling him Dante Pettis 2.0. That's crazy to me. He's much more physical than that guy and more reliable than Dante Pettis. But yeah, I think he'll get it together. As when we drafted him, I was very happy, getting him in the 7th round. But yeah, as of now, I mean, I was hoping he would take over because Ray McLeod and Juwan Jennings are both free agents. So I
Yeah.
was thinking he'd come in and be the third receiver going into 2024 season, but well, who knows? Maybe he's not ready to take on that role yet. But he's still young. He's still a rookie. He has the whole off season to take care of business. But as of right now, we definitely, I would honestly probably trust our other guys who've been there longer right now in the playoffs over Ronnie Bell at this point.
Yeah, Twin, what do you think, man? And then also Conley, see, 49er Jeff says Conley show he got something. To me, he showed me he got the dropsies, bro. Like
I was
I
about to
don't know.
say,
I'm not big on Conley. Honestly, I wish I got to see Tate Martin yesterday because Tate Martin's the most
Mm.
promising one out of all three of them to me so far, but I haven't seen enough to really say that. But Twin, what did you think of Ronnie Bell and Conley?
With any young player, you need repetition. I think he just needs reps. I think because he does play a physical style of football, he's trying to make sure he does the correct thing. And then I think that messes up when it comes to him just trying to naturally be a athlete. And so when you're trying to marry those two together, you need time on task. And that's probably his biggest issue. He doesn't get enough repetition out there to play through his mistakes, get comfortable with what it is that he can do very well. He's usually put in a position to not necessarily excel at what he do good, just out there blocking and being and run clear out routes. So him being able to go out there and play the way that he wants to over a long period of time, I think he'll be okay. He just got to get the cobwebs out and just get more familiar with the timing of real life snaps and referees and other opposing teams going out there trying to take his head up.
I love how Ronnie Bell blocks, man. That's one thing I do
Yes.
really like about him, and I know Kyle probably values the hell out of that as well. Let me get your take on.
Hey man, get Steve Kerr out of here, man. I don't care what nobody. Oh, sorry.
Hey
Well,
Ryan,
so-
before you start,
yeah.
Ryan, that's why I had mentioned to you earlier, like we don't know what's going on. I know Juwan Jennings has been out for a while, which is kind of concerning with that concussion. Like,
Yeah.
man, how long? Like, what kind of concussion protocol is he in? That's crazy. Hopefully,
Yeah.
by the time we get to our playoff game, he'll be ready. But that's why I had mentioned earlier, like if you're having problems at receiver, you can trust CMC. CMC he can play any position on the field. You can put him you can put him at running back and could put him in the slot with his hands. He has great hands. So if you have an issue, you want to put your best players on the field. Like I said, you have the Ayuk, Debo, CMC in the slot that you can put you a JP Mason back there. So I don't think you'll have any drop off in the slot receiver situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, man. Let's talk Moody, man. What Jake Moody, man. He's. I mean, let's keep it real. Like, let's be honest here, okay? Jake Moody may end up being fine, but the 49ers would be 14-3 right now had Jake Moody made 2 kicks this season that could have been clutch. They could have beat the Browns, and they could have won that game yesterday. Now the game yesterday is meaningless, but I am concerned about Jake Moody. I'm going to keep it real. Like, I'm, overall under 30 yards, he's been pretty accurate. Or I think it's under 30 or 40.
Under 40,
I think yesterday was the first miss under that mark, but he did miss an extra point too. And the 49ers are going into the playoffs postseason, and a lot of these games may come down to a kick. How are you guys feeling about Jake Moody, Twin?
So I think him and Kyle are intertwined. This goes back to, I know somebody said earlier, don't be negative, but we got to be real. Are we only winning if we have a lead this entire playoffs, or do we trust Kyle to be able to now come back at the end of the game and then be willing to put the game in this young man's hand, as far as well in his foot? You know what I'm saying? And so I trust him when the pressure is not on, but do I trust him when the pressure is there? Is to be determined because we haven't seen it yet. And there's a couple questions that we haven't seen with this team. And I think even though the season's over with, those questions are truthful and honest because we haven't seen them get answered. So it's between him and Kyle. If Kyle is in a pressurized situation, will he put everything on Moody, or will he say, you know what, I'm gonna trust the guys who have been in these pressure situations, as far as being in the league, my skilled players, and forget going for the kick. I'm just gonna go for the win. And he hasn't done that either. So that's where I'm kind of in this paradox where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Because he hasn't done neither or.
I mean, I'm gonna get Theo's response as well, but I don't think there is reason to be confident in Jake Moody. If we're being real here, right? There's no reason. Now, that doesn't mean that when the playoffs start, he doesn't, handle business. That's possible, but there's no reason to be confident in Jake Moody because in those situations he hasn't pulled through. And it's something interesting too. And I don't know if you can, us headed into the playoffs. This is something. All of our wins, we were up at halftime, except one we were tied. All of our losses, we were down in the third quarter, and we have not been able to pull it off in those situations yet. The whole entire season. And so Brock has yet to be tested in that regard. And we'll talk about Brock in a little bit as well. And Jake Moody has been tested and he hasn't pulled through. Well, I mean, both Brock and Moody have been tested in those situations. And in those situations, they haven't pulled through. So that is a small concern of mine headed into the playoffs. Teal, I want to get your take on Moody, and then we got some super chats as well.
Yeah, for sure. So everybody's concern is valid. I totally agree with that. Like, it's funny, the kicker is not important on the team until he is. You know what I'm saying? That's what it comes
Yeah.
down to. People, and I said this on my tweet, like, and um Jake Moody, since 10-29 against the Cincinnati Bengals has been perfect since then, extra
Right.
points and field goals. So, it's funny nobody likes to mention that, but as soon as he misses, the world's on fire. So I get everybody's concern because, he's not a Robbie Gold. He hasn't been in pressure situations. And you're right. Every time, he's had to kick, we've been up like 2 scores or whatever. So there's no pressure. So I totally agree. Is there concern? Absolutely. Like, if we're down, by 1 or 2 and we need a last minute field goal, I'm gonna be concerned. And I watched him 3 years in Michigan kicking the cold weather. So, he has it in him, but is he mentally okay that when he misses, he can bounce back? That's my concern. You know what I mean? Like, because remember when he went to that stretch of bad kicks, he was like two games where he was awful. Where it's like, man, like, what's up, man? He missed against, the Vikings, against the Browns, all this other stuff where it was consecutive games. So hopefully, it's like I said again, good thing we got the number 1 seed. He can get it together. I'd have him come in for some extra kicks. If you have to bring in a wind machine to to go towards you, whatever the case may be, to get him right. But yeah, like, you're not going to be somebody until you are. So until he proves he can kick in a crucial clutch situation, I'm even concerned. So yeah, everybody's concern is valid. However, Ryan, I'm going to clap back a little bit on he's the reason why we're not 14-3. We're
Okay.
up 20-7 at halftime, brother. Like,
It's true.
20-7. Like, to blame that, to say, oh, we lost the game 21-20 because of a kicker. We didn't score. Yeah, he didn't kick his field goal, but we didn't score any touchdowns in the second half either. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing we have to look at. And the Browns game, yeah, he missed 2 crucial field goals, but you look at the whole game, defense didn't play well. Offense only scored 17 points. And people like to say, well, he left 6 points off the board. In my opinion, so did Ayuk, and so did CMC. I mean, no, sorry, Brock Purdy. He missed a wide open CMC. He overthrew him. That was 6. Could have won the game. Ayuk right there on the sideline. He dropped the ball perfect in his hands by Brock Purdy. He catched that. That's 6. So all 3 of them left 6 points off the board. So to me, I can't sit there and just say it was because of the kicker. But I mean, everybody has their own opinion. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, to me, I just can't put 2 losses on him when everybody else wasn't doing their job either. So
Yeah, I mean, to put it all on him, maybe not fair, but
yeah,
contributing. I mean, he left 6
oh,
on
for
the
sure,
board for Cleveland. He left
he
4
did.
yesterday,
Hmm.
and that's the difference in the game. So definitely a contribution in that regard. Let's answer some of these super chats. Shout out to everyone for the super chats. Thank you very much. He says, "Can we get back Gold?" Gold officially retired. Now he could come back. I don't think he wants to come back necessarily. Maybe if the 49ers tempted him with enough money, he would, but it doesn't sound like to me Kyle Shanahan is interested in that at all. He believes in Jake Moody for whatever reason. So the 49ers got to just go out there and ball on these teams in the playoffs and the Super Bowl and not make it close, not up to Jake Moody. Shout out to Italian Niner Vito. He says, "Does Moody remind you a little of David Akers from that Super Bowl season against the Ravens when Akers missed all those kicks?" He reminds me of a guy that misses kicks. I don't know. It's hard to know. Like, honestly, if you look at his overall numbers, it's not that bad. It's really not. It just seems to be whenever Jake Moody misses a kick, we lose. If you look at what happens this year. So again, though, I don't know, man. It's ultimately this comes down to Kyle. I hate to put this much pressure on Moody because Kyle's the one that put Moody there and decided to move on from Gold and spend a 3rd-round draft pick for Moody. So ultimately, it comes down to Kyle. Twin, am I correct?
For sure. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he made these decisions to draft them. He made these decisions to move on from Robbie, like you said. And then also he's going to be put in position to say, hey, what are you going to do in the clutch situations? You know what I'm saying? What's your mentality? Are we going for it? Do you feel like you only want to be confident if you have a lead? How confident are you for playing behind? Are you willing to do a little, what's his name? Don Campbell? Was it Dan Campbell?
Dan Campbell.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like for the Lions, hey, in 4th quarter situations, are you going to be willing to go for it on 4th and short or 2nd quarter? And you may have got momentum. It's you at the 40-yard line. It's 4th and 2 at home.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to punt at home or are you going to go for it at home? You got the crowd. You got the rest. You got the leading rusher, National Football League. You got the best tight end. You got the best left tackle. Or are you going to kick it and put everything on the right leg of a rookie? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or are you going to put the pressure on multiple All-Pros and things of that nature? So that's my question.
Yeah,
Dan Campbell's doing it with guys who haven't made to the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying that he's a better coach than Kyle. I'm just saying when these clutch moments, that's when you will have to be aggressive and trust your guys.
Yeah. Real quick, John Chasari says we had no major injuries yesterday. Worried about Moody, no blow, teams out, and kicker doesn't matter. Play a close game, and he may. I mean, here's the thing. Again, man, let's to be positive. It's entirely possible Moody wins this the damn Super Bowl for all we know, right? So we'll see what happens, man. Jury's still out. He's a rookie. I got to give him time, but it was an interesting decision to draft him in the 3rd round and go with a rookie kicker in this season, where before the season we felt like we were going to the Super Bowl, and it's kind of like we don't have time to develop Trey Lance season, but we got time to go with a rookie kicker season. It's kind of an interesting decision. Hopefully it pays off, and we'll see if Kyle Shanahan was right in that decision. And thanks for the super chat, Johnny Keenan, brother. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. GTC says, I'm sending Dre and Trent to carpool with Jake Moody every day until the playoffs. It's either make it or deal with the rapture. Yeah, it'd be interesting. And then Red Jet hits us with a super chat. Thank you, Red Jet. Says the personnel who have yet to produce when the time is required now is definitely that time. There are only 2 games to the Super Bowl, and both those games can come down to showing up on time. Correct. Everybody's got to show up. Thank you, Red Jet. I appreciate you. All right, man. Let's get back to the regular scheduled program. I do want to ask you about Carson Vick, man. He was balling out yesterday, rumbling. Carson Wentz, man, what's going on? I would look. So is this a concern, man? I know Eric Armstead out, and I think that's a big part of this. Why the 49ers haven't been great against the run now. The Rams, they did run for 100 and something yards total. I'll try to find what it is, but Carson Wentz had 56 of them. Ronnie Rivers had 52 of them. Carson Wentz rumbling for 56 yards against the Niners is not something I expected to see. What's your take on the 49ers letting Carson Vick do his thing?
Oh man, I don't know what it comes down to. It's like, you know, there's always these certain games that come up, and it's funny. It's usually against quarterbacks who can scramble, who are very athletic, like Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Carson Wentz going out there and running for 50 something yards is crazy. It's like, and
Mhm.
it seems like we have a concern when the quarterback can scramble a bit. Remember last year against the Raiders on New Year's Day, Aiden O'Connell, he was scooting on us a little bit, and we weren't expecting it. So we need to clean up that running. And I understand, we got some injuries over the middle and stuff like that. But man, like that, hopefully these next couple of weeks, like we're really in the film room studying that, because like you cannot let. I mean, we don't even know who we're playing. If we get, let's just say we end up playing the Packers or something, Jordan Love might sit there and surprise us and start scooting on us, and we're like, man, how do we stop this? And every time, you get a quarterback who can run a little bit, and then you start, start cheating a little bit, then they start picking you apart. You know what I'm saying? So that's my
Yeah.
concern. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just something about the 49ers and the run game. Sometimes they just look unstoppable, right? Nobody can get anything. It's like a brick wall. And sometimes it's like, how is this quarterback, or how is this guy, rushing on this for 60 quiet yards? And before you look up, it's like, what? Carson Wentz had 56 yards? Like,
Yeah.
where did that happen? So, yeah,
Mhm.
it's not a major concern, but it is a little bit of a concern, because it depends on who we end up having to face in the playoffs. So,
Yeah, Twin, what you think, man? Oh, you muted, my guy.
muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, I think TL kind of says it all. It's like it's going to come to that point in time. I was reading in the chat a little bit where Todd said it doesn't necessarily matter to not necessarily worry about the player who only plays 4 snaps, but concerned about the player who plays 60. But we've seen playoff games where it went right left and went right, and we sitting there looking like the Vikings back in 1999. I think it was Gary Anderson missed that kick, and everybody was like, "Man, the team was explosive." You had Randy, Jake Reed, Chris Carter,
Culpepper,
Cole Pepper. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
One of the greatest running backs that don't get talked about. What's my guy name? The little light skinned
Robert
dude from
Smith.
Robert Smith, a great guy to catch out the backfield and run the ball. Like next thing you know, their season over with. Though those guys play 60 hard to 80 hard snaps, but now they on the bench chilling. That high power offense wasn't that high powered. Things didn't go right. They had to rely on what? The kicker. You see what I'm saying? So these things does happen. So you have to be proactive in these situations, be able to say, oh, okay, I trust these guys. You know what I'm saying? Or I've seen them do it. The same thing, like I said, with us coming back from behind the cow, calling that aggressive game, because again, we are talented we're more talented than anybody out here in the NFC. Let's be honest. If we play our
Mhm.
best game, we'll be anybody. But
Yeah.
we seen when we do turn the ball over, we are beatable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you get it. What's up? What you about to say, Ryan?
No, I was wondering about your take on Carson Vick yesterday, man. Like has
Oh,
been
my
rumbling.
bad.
Yeah.
Carson Vick. It's cool to see, man, because when he first got in the league with Philadelphia, he did run a little bit more often. When he got injured, it started to slow down, but that's why he was dynamic, was because he could throw the ball in each quadrant of the field. But then, if need be, he could run. He could use his legs and scoot a little bit. So, my thing is knowing that Sean McVay has 2 different types of quarterbacks. One with Matthew Stafford, who can dot the ball anywhere on the field, and another quarterback who create a playbook to be adaptive to what he can do. So knowing that he can be shaky with his arms, hey, I'm gonna give you this opportunity to still build your confidence up with using your athleticism still. So to me, when it comes to coaching, I love how he emphasized his good and then helped out in bad situations where if it's a pressure third down, hey man, just go take the easy yards with your legs and let's keep the chains moving. So big up
Yeah.
to Sean McVay to seeing that and identifying it and executing it as well.
I mean, I know as our backups, I just think I'm just concerned that we allowed that. We saw what Burrows did with us running against us. We saw what Lamar Jackson did against us. Now, obviously, all NFL teams want a running quarterback, and this is why, because it's definitely effective. But 49ers do concern me a little bit with stopping the run in general, and then these running quarterbacks. Also, I think that's the biggest weakness on this team. Even more so maybe than this offensive line. What was my biggest concern coming into the season? It's been a concern throughout the season. But probably because Kyle can scheme around that, it's not as much of an issue. Whereas stopping the run has been consistently. And I know Eric Armstead's not in there, but I think that, and that's going to make a big difference when he comes back. But that is something I'm going to be looking for. Stopping the run. This team, You know, they're known for their defense, and the fact that they're giving up so many rushing yards as of late, it does concern me a bit. But let's talk real quick, man, about what everyone really likes talking about, which is quarterbacks. I want to talk about Sam Darnold, Brock versus Sam. What did you guys see from Sam Darnold yesterday, TL? Give me your take on Sam.
I think Sam Darnold, and you know, it's funny. I didn't even think about this. Somebody posted in the chat. We're 0-4 when Carson Wentz starting the quarterback. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
yeah, I
wild.
mean, yeah, that's not. I mean, you look at Brock versus Sam. You know, everybody thought. You know, what's so funny. 49er fans crack me up, man. Because you know, and I get it. You want to support everybody on your team, but your takes shouldn't change just because the situation changed. Like you can still be like, remember so many people, like those people who were advocating for Sam Darnold even before he got here when we had Jimmy. Like, oh, let's bring Sam Darnold in. He's a journeyman, see what he can do. Oh, he's trash. He's a bust. He sees ghosts, blah, 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 all this other stuff. He gets here. Oh, he's a great backup. I can't wait to see him play. He might even can execute this offense better than
Yeah,
Brock if he
right,
gets in. And it's just it's
right.
comical to me. But to say who's the better starting quarterback is Brock, and it's not close and it's very disrespectful. I get it. And, you know, Sam has the better intangibles as far as like the size, the arm strength, stuff like that. But there's just some stuff you can't teach as far as like, the way Brock Purdy processes processes his those with anticipation, stuff like that. You're correct. I mean, when I was reading some of these takes back in the day, me and Ryan did our show, and I was like, man, Ryan brought up bringing in somebody like a Gardner Minshew. That would have, to me, that would have been a
That's who I
perfect
wanted,
backup.
bro.
Well, that's what I'm
That's who
saying.
I
Yeah, that would
wanted.
have. To me, that
Yeah.
would have been perfect backup. He's played solid for the Colts with a lot less weapons. Like I feel like him on this team would have been a perfect backup because he plays similar to Brock and has the same type of intangibles. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I just like I said earlier when we first had our first topic on the show, and I'm not praying on anybody's downfall, but we just need to stay healthy. Like I don't want to jinx it. If you're one of those people who need to knock on wood, do your thing. I don't believe in that stuff, but yeah, if he I just hope and he's. I guess it's if Sam Darnold played with the starters, I'm sure he would look better. I mean, anybody would, but man, it's just his decision making sometimes, and sometimes his IQ, it scares me. You know what I mean? To be honest, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's my take about that. Brock is, he's the quarterback going forward, and I think if he's in his bag and Kyle's in his bag and Kyle doesn't get in his own head, we're winning the Super Bowl. I
Mm.
think we're winning the Super Bowl. Like Kyle just needs to be smart. He has a track record of going away from game plans. Let's just be honest here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it's working, just keep pushing. Then, like I said before, use this running game. But yeah, Brock Purdy, man, he showed me a lot this year. I'm still not going to call him elite yet, even though he's had an elite season. I have to see more. That's just me. I have to see 2 to 3 years of quarterback play on a consistent level before I make a decision. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
Yeah.
Brock seems like that guy, and I hope and I think Kyle, he saw the window was open with the cheap quarterback. So let's get this Super Bowl, man. But yeah, Brock, he looks good when he's in his bag. But yeah, you're right though. It's concerning to me when the turnovers start to go, because I feel like when he starts having turnovers and we get behind, that's my concern when it comes to Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Darnold, he is known for turnovers, interceptions, fumbles. He
Mhm.
fumbled twice yesterday. People forget that. He fumbled 2 times. He lost 1 and he fumbled 2 times. There was moments where you're like, "Oh, okay, Sam Darnold can throw," but we always knew that about Sam
Yeah,
Darnold.
always.
It's just like he just turns the ball over. That's his downfall, and especially. And here's the thing: is like I told everybody, like, "Oh, Kyle," that was like Kyle can bring out the best in Sam. And maybe he can reduce the interceptions. He didn't throw the interception yesterday because Kyle's offense. It's easy to pass. It's easier to pass in this offense than maybe any other offense in the NFL. But the fumbles, you can't do anything about that. Kyle can't do nothing about holding on to the ball, and we saw that show up yesterday. And here's the other thing about Sam Darnold, man. He's very indecisive. With Brock, what I love about Brock, man, he drops back, boom, decision, gone, balls out. With Sam, it's like he's very Jimmy G-ish, right? If that first read's open, he's pretty good. If he has to go through his progressions, he's not like Brock, where Brock can scan the field and still make a quick, decisive play. Sam's not that guy. So his decisiveness and his fumbling, I'm not a big fan of Sam Darnold. And to me, I've always felt this way when I watched these guys in training camp. Trey Lance looked better than Sam Darnold. And I think they just went with Sam Darnold because it's less controversial. It's
Exactly.
moving past the distraction of Trey Lance. And maybe that was the right thing because Brock Purdy stayed healthy. Now, had Brock Purdy not stayed healthy this season, it could have been a bad decision. But knock on wood, if you believe in that, thank goodness Brock Purdy's healthy because Brock Purdy is night and day better than Sam Darnold. And I think Sam Darnold is destined to be a backup for the rest of his career now in the
Yes.
NFL. Yeah.
And Ryan, before you go over to Twin, you're right, man. It's like, just imagine that 3-game losing streak with Trey on the team. Oh,
Oh, it
put
was.
Trey in. Brock Purdy ain't it. And, so yeah, I mean, even though I
Mhm.
wanted to see what he could do as a business decision, I think Kyle did make the right choice, like you said, for the controversial sense.
Yeah. Twin, what was your take on Sammy D yesterday?
In the words of Dennis Green, he was who we thought he was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He went out there. He showed some wonderful throws. His talent is there. Nobody never knocked his ability to have a good arm, but then he also showed some of his flaws. But he's a serviceable backup. He's not somebody who's going to come in there and we think of the Johnson guy from last year. He's not him. And that's what you don't want. You don't want somebody who go in there and you just be like, oh, God, it's over. He can't even throw the ball 10 yards. We do know he can at least throw the ball, and if need be, if he needs reps, I think he could be even better, like L said, with some of the starters in there, or with the running game. Somebody gave a good comment was saying, like, we're running the West Coast offense with a O-line that can run the ball. And at the end of the day, if we need to, I do think we have the horses to run that ball up and down somebody's throat. Even with some of the guys who came in there yesterday who's not necessarily starters, I thought they put out good film. Were they perfect? No. But they went out there and showed that they can run block. They can run block. They can't do nothing else. Those guys go out there and run block. So to me, that just solidifies that at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, when we have to show physicality against these other teams, we got the horses to go out there and run the ball if we do need to have somebody like Sam Darnold come in the game for a couple series or whatnot. So that's what I thought I saw.
I don't know about this, brother. He says give Sam Darnold a good team to make the Super Bowl, man. I think you can give him a great team, and he might not still make that Super Bowl. I'm not a big Sammy D guy. James Wells says Sam D's better than Lance. Okay, let's pray for health. Here's the thing, man. I'm going to continue to say the truth, whether it pisses people off or not. Trey Lance has played 3.5 games. We don't know what Trey Lance is. We've seen Sam Darnold play 58 games now, and he continues to look like the same quarterback the entire time. So Sam Darnold is destined to be a backup quarterback in the NFL from this point forward. I don't see him ever being a starter again. Trey Lance has played 3.5 games. It's unknown what he can develop into. I think Trey Lance needs to play in order to develop, and he hasn't had an opportunity. So I'm not ready to make a determination on what Trey Lance is at this point.
Hey, and I'll say this too. Keep that same energy. That means Trevor Lawrence, if Sam Darnold was playing with the Jacksonville Jaguars right now, they'll be in the playoffs then. Because I see Trevor Lawrence turn his ball over like he'll apple turnover every other game, multiple times a game, and he gets multiple opportunities to go out there and play and continue to develop. You know what I mean? And don't nobody say nothing. Y'all quiet as a church mouth. This man got over 30-some games underneath his belt. Y'all don't say nothing. Same thing with Josh Allen. He got more turnovers than he got games played. When y'all quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that just makes me know what's really the issue. And I'll be quiet on that one. But y'all better chill out with that.
All right, guys, let's move on. Playoff picture for the 49ers, man, or just in general. But 49ers got that bye week coming up. They got this week off, and then they got to get ready for the divisional round. Their opponents could be, if I'm correct, it's between the Rams, the Lions. Man, how does it work? It's the lowest seed. So the Packers play the Cowboys. Let's go through in the NFC first. Actually, let's start at the AFC if you guys don't mind. Steelers and Bills, man. Who's gonna win that game? I got Bills, bro. What do you guys got?
I got the Bills, but I would take the Steelers on the money line. The Bills are -10. I don't think they win by 10 points. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think.
Yeah. What do
too
you
many
think?
turnovers.
Too many turnovers from Josh?
Bill should win. Josh been on this turnover prone. And then, unfortunately, when James Cook is cooking, he ends up turning the ball over and missing like a catch or whatnot, and then they stop going to him. But he's productive when he gets the opportunity, and you got to trust Mike Tomlin's defense and TJ Watt. Only thing you need is a couple plays by him. One thing he ain't gonna do is sit back and just allow Josh Allen to be comfortable. He gets to the quarterback consistently, and so that's one thing you do want, the pressure on him, because he will give you one. You know what I'm saying? He gonna give you one, and when a team like with a coach like that, you got to respect them. And it's any given Sunday. So, yeah, Bill should win. But like TL said, that money line, let the under.
Yeah, and James Wells says he was being sarcastic. He's still like my bad, man. It's hard to read sarcasm sometimes,
It
man.
does.
Yeah,
Especially when you
but
super chatted. This sounded convincing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
like
Yeah, bro. I'm like, wait a minute.
all right, man.
We
Next game in the
ready.
AFC, Dolphins and Chiefs, man. How do you guys see that one playing out?
oh,
Nail biter. Chiefs win at the end of the game because one thing's consistent. Mike McDaniels have yet to show he can win coming from behind. Tua Tagovailoa have shown that he cannot win coming from behind. One thing we know, when that playoffs come, that boy number 15 over there with the P and the H in his name, that man flip a switch and he different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that other guy who catch the ball from, I think is number 87, he different too. So
yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say.
It's gonna be hard for me to bet against Patrick Mahomes in the first round of the playoffs.
For
Like I
sure.
can't. Yeah, like this is a Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl MVP multiple times. To bet against him losing in the first round, I don't care how bad this team has looked as recent. I feel like he's gonna figure it out in the playoffs, man.
Mhm.
What do you think, TL? You
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at this spread -3.5. That kind of scares me a little bit because I
Yeah.
don't know if I live here in Vegas and I talk to a lot of people who work in the sports book and they always tell me when the spread is too good to be true, usually it is. And the
Mm-hmm.
casual fan will look at that and be like, "Oh, the Chiefs will win by 4 for sure." So, but at the end of the day, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes at home in the first round, I just can't see them losing that first game. Like, I don't know how far they're going to go into the playoffs, but them at home, like you said, you guys hit the nail on the head. Mike McDaniels, only team they really beat that had a winning record was the Dallas Cowboys, and every
Yeah.
other team they lose to. So yeah, like you said, it's hard to go against Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes first game in the playoffs at home. So I just can't see them losing that game.
Yeah.
Oh, and don't
Yeah, I
forget
agree.
the big tackle, Chris Jones,
Oh, Chris Jones. Yeah.
getting in the
Yeah.
middle
Chiefs got
and
a good
and
defense, man.
Yeah, they do.
yeah, but they
Yeah.
injury riddled and the offensive line is hurt as far as the Miami is. And man, that D tackle ain't no joke, man. You can line
Oh,
him
Chris
with
Jones, yeah.
D Chris Jones, like you can line him up anywhere. And two is a small little guy. So if he get hit a couple times early on in that game, I think he could be shaken. And those running backs are kind of injured right now too as well. So
Yeah.
that's something I have
And it's
to
a home game for the Chiefs. And I don't think the Dolphins have won, if I'm not mistaken. Dolphins haven't won a playoff game since the year 2000. If I'm being right. I mean,
Wow.
all trends are meant to be broken, so we'll see. But that's not good either. All right, man. Next one, Cleveland and Houston. I believe the Cleveland beat the hell out of Houston already once this year. And I mean, shout out to D'Amico, who deserves Coach of the Year. CJ Stroud is an amazing story, but I got Browns over the Texans. But let me get y'all take.
I got the Browns as well. I just think they have a better overall team. CJ Stroud has done some amazing things. I love me some D'Amico Ryans. He's battle tested as far as like, in the playoffs and stuff like that. So I'm sure he'll make adjustments and stuff like that. But Joe Flacco's found a fountain of youth and is playing good football. They have a lot of weapons. Amari Cooper had such an underrated season. Nobody even talked about him. Like Amari Cooper's out there balling. And Joku, with a good quarterback, has done his thing. I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on with Elijah Moore. I know he had, having convulsions on the field that one day and stuff. That was crazy. But I don't know if but they have, and then that defense is just, it looks good. I just think that, Joe Flacco, he's been there, he's done that, he's won a Super Bowl, he's battle tested. CJ Stroud, I mean, kudos to him, definitely rookie of the year. Like you said, D'Amico Ryans coach of the year, but I think they have a first round exit just because
Yeah.
I feel like, the Browns just a little bit more battle tested, especially because of the quarterback situation.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm like Red J here says, I'm pulling for Houston only because I'm biased, but I think Cleveland will get it, sadly. I think
Same.
I feel the same exact
Yeah.
way. All right, next game. Let's go to the NFC side, man.
Houston.
And what'd you say?
No, I was saying I'm going for Houston.
Yeah, because
Oh, did I not get your opinion on that,
You
Tay?
didn't get my opinion. No, it's all good. I'm gonna let you know.
Okay, so you want Houston to win, but do you think Houston's going to win?
Yes, I think they're gonna win. I want them to win, mainly because I don't like this narrative going on where every time I look at the Houston, and you know me, I'm kind of controversial. I don't care. Everybody talking about Bobby Slowick and Kyle Shanahan's tree, and they put up graphics with everybody but D'Amico Ryans and what he's done. Got dog it on roll with the Texans because a lot of people be talking track, cash money, but this man had a first-year quarterback coming into the organization that was going through a dumpster fire, and he flipped that thing around in a short period of time, made the playoffs, won the division championship, and has a guy with confidence. One thing you need in the playoffs is somebody who don't turn the ball over. You know what that young boy has not done? If you look at Joe Flacco, he got many interceptions already than CJ Stroud, who played way more games than him. So if you don't turn that ball over, you give your team an opportunity to end the game and win, you can. And so I just think that young man is going to go out there and shock the world and show them that, hey, man, I'm a gamer. And I know that the boy Flacco has shown some things, but that was back in the day. I'm the new thing. I'm the new car. You know, I'm the updated iPhone 15. I'm not no Samsung. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm going with the Texans, roll with CJ Stroud, and DeMeco Ryan deserve more love and adulation because a lot of these other coaches would have been given all types of interviews and they would have been singing their praise because they're a genius and they're innovative and all types of stuff. But you don't hear nothing about DeMeco Ryan. So salute to him and what he's done as a head coach.
I'm a big DeMeco fan. I'm a big CJ Stroud fan. Coming into this draft, I told everybody go check my receipts that CJ Stroud is the best quarterback coming out of that draft. And I was right about that. CJ Stroud is having a phenomenal rookie season. He's the truth. And shout out to DeMeco for finding that quarterback in year one, finding a defensive player and going from, I think, 3 wins last year to making the playoffs this year. That's phenomenal. All that being said, that Browns defense is no joke, and that's why I got the Browns winning. I'm pulling for Houston, but I think the Browns pull it off.
Yeah.
Go ahead, T.O.
Yeah, just real quick too. I think with Bobby Slowick, like I think it was smart, and you're right, Twin, about everything you just said. But the thing about Bobby Slowick and where DeMeco Ryans doesn't give his credit is he knew going into year one, like unlike I'm not trying to bash Kyle. He knew in the year one he had to go and find his franchise guy. Kyle waited, and Bobby Slowick was one of the ones. Him and what's the quarterback coach name?
Brian Griese.
Brian Griese and Bobby Slowick were the ones who banged the table for Brock Purdy. They were like, look, I want Brock Purdy. He's that dude, this and that. Kyle really wasn't even looking at him. And then so when DeMeco got his team, he got Bobby Slowick and said, hey, I like how you look at quarterbacks, stuff like that. Got him, went and got him a CJ Stroud year one. You know what I'm saying? So that right there is a smart move that's underrated by DeMeco Ryans, getting in a guy who he trusts and says, hey, you helped me in my first year, find me a good quarterback. I trust your eyes. And that's what he did. So even though Bobby Slowick kind of gets some of the credit, but you got to give it to DeMeco Ryans for bringing in the right guys to help him get that. You know what I'm saying?
Brought in some tournament too.
Yeah.
The way I look at
Brown. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, buddy. No, go ahead.
Look, just bringing in Noah Brown, who the Dallas got rid of. Dalton Schultz, who Dallas got rid of. Even the guy who was the wide receiver, Nico Collins, wouldn't even heard of last couple of years. He brought in somebody like from Ward. You see what I'm saying? He got a lot of pieces that aren't household names. These guys are throwaways, and to have the mentality and the culture to get these guys to be on one accord in that division, with a young quarterback like that, man. Anybody else, they would be sitting there like, oh my God, what a wonderful thing that he did to turn around the season like that. And the first quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards and to have the league in touchdown to interception ratio too as well. Come on, man.
Yeah, Stroud is doing this is the best. I mean, honestly, this is the best rookie season I've seen from a quarterback besides Dak Prescott.
Andrew Luck, maybe. Oh yeah, Dak Prescott too. Yeah.
Dak balled
with
out.
Comeback victories too. Coming back from behind too. Multiple victories from coming back from behind with less than a minute and something left on the clock. March this man down there and scored touchdowns. Not field goals, touchdowns.
Bro's a real deal, man. I watched him play, and I'm like, this dude is just the most natural thrower of football I've seen in a long time. It's just so easy and perfect and flawless for him. So, yeah, I mean, again, I like what the Texans are doing. I think they're a year away, though. I think they're a year away. They need a couple more pieces, man. But I think the Browns win this game because their defense is so hard. But you never know, man. Could be wrong. Let's jump to the NFC side, guys. Packers in Dallas versus the Cowboys. And I want to give credit to, everyone knows damn well the Niners don't like Cowboys, but I like the NFL. I like football first. And Dak Prescott is balled out, man. And what I like is just like how Debo called his shots and then pulled it off against the Eagles. Dak Prescott said, hey, I'm not going to be turning the ball over like I did this year. Watch, I guarantee it. And he came out, he threw, I think he's like 4,500 something yards, 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He is balling, man. Now people say, oh, he's not playing against good teams. I get all that. But I got to give credit where credit is due. And I think Dak Prescott's had a great season. Also, really like Jordan Love, man. I think Jordan Love is nice, too. So that's going to be an interesting game. Who do you guys got, Green Bay versus Dallas?
Go ahead, Twin.
I mean, I wouldn't mind Green Bay winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead, take care of business. Uh,
It's in Dallas
you
too,
know,
right? Yeah, it's in
it's in
Dallas.
Dallas though, and Dak Prescott and that offense and defense is totally different playing at home than they are away. And like you said, man, if you've been honest to take away the hater blockers and just evaluate what it is that he did this year. Let's be honest, they thought they were going to have a running game with Tony Pollard. They did not. They got rid of their tight end, who was the number one reception leader last year. And CeeDee Lamb became a true number one this year. I think he's probably the number 2 wide receiver when it comes to just statistics, touchdowns, receiving yards. I mean, the dude went ballistic. You know what I mean? We all can have our issues with Dak Prescott, but I know if, again, there's some other quarterbacks that put up that type of numbers, people will be out here singing all types of praises. You see what I'm saying? And so for Dak to be able to do that and not have a running game to lean on, meaning that the offense is pretty much predicated on his own talent and what it is that he's going to do with his arm, you got to salute the man. And so that's why you got to, kind of take your hat off to them for saying that they probably will win against the Packers. And then you got a young team coming down there. If they incorporate the running game a lot with Jones, I think they have an opportunity to stay in this game. But if they get out, in the big league, part of the Cowboys, it's over with. You don't want Mike Parsons rushing you, not having to worry about the run no more. That's dangerous. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tio.
Yeah, I just think, I think you're right. I think Dallas ultimately will win that game. I think they win probably by a touchdown. And I think kind of like the situation you said, Ryan, with the Houston Texans, they're probably like a year away with Jordan Love being such a young quarterback. And, I just like Dallas overall as a team. They have the weapons, they got a good defense, their corners are playing well. And Deron Bland and Stephon Gilmore, I mean, they got some good talent. You got Michael Parsons. So yeah, I just think that Dallas at home is going to get that victory. But I think if Packers want to have a chance, they can't try to get into a shootout. They have to control the clock, give Aaron Jones some run, let Jordan Love, let him run around a little bit too. You know what I mean? To kind of get the defensive scheme plan to kind of change a little bit, because he's underrated as an athlete, Jordan Love. So you get him out and let him run a little bit. Yeah, I think you could control the clock to keep it close. You have a chance. But I think if Dallas comes out hot with CeeDee Lamb and he's scoring touchdowns early and all this other stuff, it can get ugly quick, I believe. But I just think that Dallas has too much firepower to lose this game at home.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe, I mean, Twin might know, but also Melvin, I'm sure, knows. I think Dallas is undefeated at home. Am I wrong about that? I think they are. And maybe
Yeah,
lost
no,
one.
I think you're right. I think all their losses are on the road.
he's on the road. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to go into Dallas and win unless you're the 49ers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the Cowboys pull it off. Let's talk about Jim Everett's favorite team and his daddy's team. Jim Everett says McVay is his daddy. I think you're talking about. So I didn't know that you're his son, man. Good to have you here, Jim Everett. The Rams play the Lions in Detroit. Well, this one's, to me, honestly, it's the hardest one for me to predict.
Same.
Yeah,
But I'm going Rams.
Going Rams in
Detroit.
Rams.
I'm going Rams in Detroit.
Why? Give us your reason.
So, again, there was a stretch where, I don't know if you had talked about it too, but it was a stretch where the Rams were playing some good football. Like, they reminded me of the 49ers of a couple years ago. Kind of started off slow, but then started they lost to Baltimore, but they had Baltimore on the ropes. Like, they were playing some really good football, man. And so, I know that, like, I think the game before they lost or whatever the case may be, but you got a healthy Cooper Kupp. That running back is doing very well for them. That Kieran Williams, whatever his name is, or he's doing good. You got Puka. They have a pretty good team there. And I think Matthew Stafford just going back home. He's going to want to go out there and give him I know we got Jared Goff who can say the same thing, but I just think that you look at Sean McVay. I just think he's hungry. And like I said, they played. They're playing some pretty good football, whether you want to agree with that or not. Not you, I'm saying just whoever. Like, they're playing good football. So yeah, I just think. And then somebody just said no Sam Laporta. That's a huge loss. He's one of the best tight ends this year as a rookie. So yeah, I think the
Rookie of the year, possibly, maybe.
I think the Rams. Yeah, if it wasn't for Puka, he probably would be.
Or
you know what I mean? If it wasn't for Puka, probably would be. So I just think that Rams will go in and upset the Lions, and I think it will be a close game.
Yeah, Twin, what's your take on this? And by the way, this game is probably the game I'm looking forward to the most, because it's Goff going back to LA, or Golf
Yeah.
playing the Rams, and it's Stafford going back to Detroit. That's the biggest storyline. Twin, who do you got winning that game, man?
Hey man, big ups to everybody out there who rock the Cartier frames, listen to Cheddar Boys, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to 8 Mile and Gratiot, everybody that be rolling around in Roseville and the Detroit, you know what I'm saying? I lived there for a couple of years, so I'm going with the D, you know what I'm saying? Let's go. Detroit getting this W, even though the injury with Laporta may cause some issues with that offense. I think the running game is still great with Gibbs and my other guy, I can't think of his name right now. Amon St. Brown is a animal when it comes to not only route running, but his hands are excellent. I do believe that the defensive line, they still got a good left tackle. And what's my man's name? Dang it. The dude that from Oregon, I believe, the real good tackle they got, man. He's excellent.
Pule Sine or Sine Pule, whatever his name is.
Yeah, him. He's still out there playing, man. And I think overall it's just that Dan Campbell, he's going to risk it. You think he's gonna risk it at the regular season? You think he ain't gonna risk it? And you don't think Detroit?
He's the pit bull off the leash.
And Detroit will be rocking. One thing about their fans, man, they nuts so. And to have their first playoff game that they hosting, man, in the D, man, listen, here gonna be a whole bunch of bubble jackets, furs. You know what I'm saying? Look, it's gonna be nasty out there. So I'm gonna roll with Detroit, man. Come through with the W and really setting that city ablaze, man. So. That's who I'm rolling with.
Hey, Ryan, real quick. So the Rams have won 7 out of their last 8. Their only loss was at Baltimore, and they lost 37-31.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I think this one's hard for me. I think I'm gonna go. I don't know. I really don't know who's gonna win this game. That's what I like about it. Like, I don't know. Man, if I had to pick one,
home of Coney Island, man, come on, home of the square pizza. You know,
I'm gonna go just because Jim Everett's in the chat. I'm gonna go with Detroit on this one, just to piss off Sean McVay's son, who is in the chat right now. All right, man. This is another one that's hard to predict for me, to be real, because the Eagles have been bootsy. Remember that word, bootsy?
Yeah, I do.
The Eagles have been so bootsy lately, and they're going against the Bucks, who are just bootsy overall. 2 bootsy teams in the playoffs. I'm not sure who's going to win this one, but I think I would just say Eagles, because I don't believe in Baker Mayfield whatsoever. But Italian Niner Vito just updated us. Jalen Hurts avoided that major injury. It's just dislocated. They popped it back in. It's not broken. Who do you guys got winning this game, Tio?
I think even if both with AJ Brown going down, that's huge, man. I don't even know what happened to him. I don't know what was a torn ACL. I don't even know what's going on. But yeah, him being out. But if Hurts plays, they pop that finger back in. Ultimately, I think it might be an offensive struggle, because I don't think any of these offenses probably going to put up a bunch of points. But I trust the Eagles defense more, if that's saying something. But I don't know. Tampa Bay. And I don't like that. Well, look who they play and all this other stuff. You play who's ever on your schedule. Like, I don't like they ain't played nobody and all this other stuff. But at the same time, I think the Eagles, the Eagles are going on the road too, which is crazy. But I just think that, I don't know, Baker Mayfield, I don't know if I trust him in the playoffs. Yeah. So I'm just if he doesn't play, I'd go Tampa. But if Hurts plays, I just think that, I will go Eagles at the end of the day. But I think it'll be a low scoring game, probably something like 20-17 or something like that. It won't be an offensive shootout. It'll be a close defensive game, and I think at the end of the day, I think it'll be Eagles getting that victory.
And what's crazy too, AJ Brown's hurt down too, man. AJ Brown is hurt too. That's tough. Yeah. Who do you got winning that one, Twin?
Hey man, I'm going Buccaneers, man. Hey, I think the Buccaneers are playing good ball second half of the season. You can think about like winning streak you brought up, because you got to keep the same energy. And we'll bring up the Rams winning streak over the last 8 weeks. You got to bring up Tampa Bay winning streaks over the last 8 weeks, and you got to bring up the losing streak of the Eagles over the last several weeks as well. And not only is AJ Brown hurt, but also Devontae Smith was in the walking boot 2 weeks ago as well. So you got 2 guys who were starting wide receivers hurt. The last time I checked, Baker got 2 guys who got 1,000 yards receiving. One named Mike Evans, the other one named Chris Godwin, who both got Super Bowl rings. You see what I'm saying? And so when you look at it that way, I'm going with the Bucks. You know what I mean? I think they gonna come in here. You got to realize who defensive backfield is sorrier. You got another guy in Philadelphia. They lost their safety towards ACL yesterday too. So you got deep bomb threats in Mike Evans and in Chris Godwin
Hmm.
going against a already ranked 30th secondary when it comes to the passing that got worse. You see what I'm saying? So and you got a trap. And you got all this dysfunction going on. And right now, who's been flying underneath the radar with no pressure has been Baker Mayfield. The thing about his extension, he got 28 touchdowns and 10 interceptions and over 4,000 yards.
Hmm.
You know, and we just got us our first 4,000 yard guy. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going with the Buccaneers.
I'm gonna say Bucks just because I want them to win. How about that? How about
Yeah.
that? Here's my question for you guys. Then, if the Bucks win, so whoever wins out of Bucks, Eagles, Rams, Packers. So if the Rams and Packers, whoever wins out of that game, that's most likely, I believe, who we play.
Yep.
If the Rams or the Packers win, who would you? We didn't have the Packers winning, so that's out of the question. In our opinions, right? Maybe they will. Who knows? But
Yeah.
if it's the Rams, then that means we play them at home. If the Eagles win, we play them at home. Man, who would you not want to see? Who do you want to see the least? First round.
Probably you said the Rams or Eagles out of those two?
Packers, Rams, Eagles,
Oh,
Bucks. Those are the most likely opponents but they have to win their games.
the wins. I would worry about Green Bay and Tampa the least.
Mm-hmm.
I'd worry about them the least. I think, I think I wouldn't want to see the Rams. I'm gonna be honest here. I think that's a team I wouldn't want to see out of those because I just think the Eagles, they're just right now, like you said, they're kind of like on one of these teams that's kind of like hit and miss. You don't know what they're going to go through, but at the same time, people do step up their game in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like even though they've been
Yeah.
like, there's people who end the seasons poorly, then all of a sudden they come in, and you're just like what the heck just happened here? Like you remember this? Remember that playoff game, Saints and Seahawks? That one
Mm-hmm.
where Marshawn Lynch just ran amok. Like they came in there as a
Yeah.
wild card, played poorly at the end of the season. They came in there and put hands on the Saints. And I was like, what the heck just happened here? So you just
Right.
don't know. But yeah, I think the Rams would be the team I would not like to play out of those four that you mentioned.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right, man. But I mean, honestly, I think we beat all these teams.
Yeah,
I feel
For
like we
sure.
beat them all.
I think we beat
The
them
Rams,
all.
I mean, even though the Rams won yesterday, I wasn't really impressed with what I saw from them. And I feel like if we had our starters out there and was running our real like full playbook and was going at them, I'm not worried about the Rams
Yeah,
too
for
much.
sure.
But out of all of them, that's probably, you're right, the most concerning. Italian Niner Vito says, I want the easiest way possible. Green Bay, Detroit, Tampa Bay. I don't care if other teams say Mickey Mouse ring. At least we got one when they're on their couches. Yeah, man, I agree, Vito. Twin, you're gonna be the one to finish this off, man. Who's the team you want to see the least?
I can get on people saying the Rams, especially if they beat us or know
Mhm.
already. I think McVay understands our offense and our defense, and they have the quarterback,
Yeah,
the best quarterback. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you got to have somebody who's the best. He's elite. He has shown that he can be elite in the playoffs, and with that pedigree, he's dangerous. And with
Yeah.
Cooper Cup and Puka Nakul, who can be possession wide receivers, can catch anywhere to 10 to 15 receptions a game. One thing about Sean McVay is once something is working, he ain't gonna deviate. You see what I'm saying? If he find a weakness in our corners or in our slot, and he sees that there's something he can kind of get in and keep on like working on us with, he will.
Yeah.
And then also, they got a decent defense, but at the same time, you got Aaron Donald. And you just need Aaron Donald to play good one game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all you need from him to play like a all pro just one game, or all decade player for one game. And the one thing about him is he distributes up in the middle. So with that being said, I'm going with the Rams as well.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Ryan, you know what I would say too, brother, before you go? And if you have a healthy Rams offense, and I'm not saying that, they're gonna beat us or nothing, but I think what would worry me the most is that Tutu Atwell kid. Because that boy is
Yeah.
so fast in our slot situation and in our safety situation, you don't know, he could beat us deep, a couple plays, and Matthew Stafford has an arm to get him the ball. Like, and then you
Yeah.
got two excellent guys on the outside and Puka and Cooper. So yeah, that's a kind of situation where you exploit a weakness of ours and you keep attacking that, then that opens up everything else. It opens opens up underneath routes, opens up the run game, stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not worried about any of them. If we play our game, nobody's beating us, period. But this is one of
Yeah.
those things to answer the question. If you have to pick one, I would definitely have to say the Rams just because of that situation.
And I think we said, like, if I'm not mistaken, we said Dallas going to beat Green Bay. We were 2-1 Detroit over LA. And I believe we were what? Did we all say Bucks or did somebody say Eagles?
No,
Did we
I
all
said
say
Eagles. I said Eagles. You two said Bucks.
so we're 2-1 Bucks over Eagles, 2-1 Detroit over Rams. So if we're right as far as like the 2-1, if that's correct, then the Niners are gonna be playing the Buccaneers. That's how it would work out, which would be nice, but maybe TL's right and me and Twin end up being wrong, and we end up having to play the Rams or the Eagles or something. So yeah, I don't think we'd even play could be Rams or Eagles. I don't know, man. Hopefully it's the Bucks. That's who I'm hoping for. Real quick, Twin, tell everyone the name of your channel, man, how they can subscribe.
Right there. Twin Empire on YouTube, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, tune in, man. Holla at your boy. Definitely go talk about Golden State Warriors too as well. So I give you some 49er content along with some Warriors because we got some trouble going on over there in the Bay right now.
Yeah, tell everyone how they can subscribe to your channel, man.
Yeah, perfect. So what you see on the screen, the TL49er Magic _23, that's my Twitter handle. So you hit me up on Twitter anytime you need. I see you, Tony. Good morning. For my YouTube channel, Mariah and I do a show once a week. You can find us at 49 Faithfully, and that's LEE, not the normal way how to spell faithfully. So yeah, if you can like and subscribe our channel, that'd be great. I think we just hit over 600 not too long ago, and that's pretty good. We haven't been doing it for a long time. So yeah, and once again, it's 49 Faithfully, LEE. So yeah.
Hopefully you guys both or everybody goes and subscribes to both of these gentlemen. Also, if you'd be so kind, hit that like button on this video, subscribe to this channel, turn on your notifications, because as my guy John G says, hopefully I win the jersey contest. We are doing a jersey giveaway for every 49ers playoff and Super Bowl win. Hopefully I give out 3 more jerseys. Every time the 49ers win a game from this point on in the postseason, I'm going to come on this show the next day. We're going to have a trivia question. Whoever answers first correctly in the chat will win the 49ers jersey of their choice, size, and color. I will send it to your house. I've already given away 5. Be number 6, 7, and 8. Let's do the damn thing. I'm going to go on with Grant today at 11 a.m. And then I should be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'm going to do this week, to be honest with you guys, because we got a week off and I got a lot of work to do. But I will be back at some point. If I'm not back tomorrow at 9 a.m., I'll be back at some point. JC tried to have me wear the robe. I was going to wear my robe today, but I just couldn't do it. I got to hold some kind of professionalism to myself. But yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to all these, to these fine gentlemen. And then I'll be on with Grant at 11 a.m. and I'll be back at some point soon. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Thank you very much. Go Niners.